Okay, so today I have some updates for you on a bunch of new makeup products I've been testing out over the last few weeks. So I have products that I love that I have used literally every single time since I tried them the first time. Like every time I do my makeup, I have products that I'm really enjoying that I think are nice, but aren't necessarily like run out and buy type of products if you have something similar in your collection. And then also products that did not work for me. So I can't wait to update you on these because I was going to do like the typical Sephora recommendations video for the spring sale, but I just did a video like a month or two ago on my number one makeup product in every category at Sephora, where I applied everything on camera. So if you want to know my true staple holy grails, I'll link that video below. And then I think just a few weeks ago, I did a video on my most repurchased makeup products at Sephora. So I'll link that one below as well. Today's video is more so on newer makeup, either like viral hyped up products or actual new launches that I haven't talked about a ton on my channel. So I think I shared some first impressions. And in today's video, I wanted to come back and share my final thoughts in case you're considering any of these products during the sale. I'll let you know what I think is worth the money and what isn't, or even if you're not shopping the sale, just hopefully some helpful reviews. So let's get started. The first thing I want to update you on is a new blush duo that I picked up from Patrick Ta. So when I filmed my Sephora wishlist video, I told you I was considering this for the sale, but it was sold out on Sephora's website. So when I was shopping at Sephora inside Kohl's, I actually checked it out in person, and I wasn't sure because it is somewhat similar in person to the shade She's Blushing, which I've heard from some of you. So when I picked them up and I held them up next to each other, I was like, I can skip over it. And then I went home and I was thinking about it for like 2 days. So I did place an order for online pickup and I picked it up in store because it really is such a gorgeous duo, and I'm glad I did. So I'll do some side-by-side comparisons for you just so you can see the difference between Not Too Much and She's Blushing. They do look somewhat similar, but I would say the difference for me is when I apply them to my face. Not Too Much really is more ideal for my skin tone. It's a little bit more subtle. And what I love about this is the powder looks kind of, warm and bronzy on the skin, but then the cream has like this beautiful peachy pink tone to it. So the cream and the powder are not like the exact same color. So it's nice because you can wear them separately or combine them. Sometimes I'll just wear the cream, sometimes I'll just wear the powder, but I love both shades so much. Like I have worn this every single day since I purchased it. It really is like my ideal duo. I think it's the most flattering on me when I'm wearing more of like a warm toned makeup look and some bronzer, maybe just like a touch of eyeshadow and like either a pink or a nude lip, because it makes the cheeks look so bright and pretty. And I do love She's Blushing, but I've always found it to be just a little bit too much for my preferences. I do like a very subtle blush, and I feel like Not Too Much adds like the perfect amount of color, the perfect flush without being over the top. Whereas with the shade or the duo She's Blushing, sometimes I apply a little bit too much and I feel like it's a little bit too intense for me. But Not Too Much will without a doubt be my go-to blush for the spring and the summer, and I'm so glad I bought it. This is so long wearing. That's not maybe news to you if you've tried his duos before, but it really just like confirmed it for me because I've been testing out so much makeup over the last few weeks. And even when my base products wear off, like the primer, the concealer, the powder, the foundation, the blush is still so intense at the end of the night. Like after 12 hours or more, it's still there. So I love this. I cannot get enough of it. Another new launch that is getting a lot of hype on social media is this one from Glow Recipe. This is the Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Hue Drop. So I do have the original version of this, which I love. I've actually been using it quite a bit over the last few months. I'll either use it as like a base product or I'll mix it in with my foundation. It shears it out just a little bit and adds the perfect touch of glow, which is perfect if you have a lot of matte foundations like I do. Anyway, I was excited to try this version. I will say the formulas are a little bit different. The original one definitely has more of a glow to it, and I wouldn't consider this a matte product by any means, but it does dry down more than the original and it doesn't look quite as glowy. When I mix it in with my foundation, there's like a subtle difference, but not as much of a difference as when I use the original. So I really do like using the original one when I'm looking to mix it in, but I do think this looks pretty on the skin as a base because it does add like that touch of bronziness without being over the top and without looking patchy or muddy. A lot of these products, or a lot of like bronzing drop products, look so bad on me, and it just looks like I almost self-tanned my face and then forgot the rest of my skin, and they dry down weird and makeup doesn't apply nicely. I haven't had a ton of luck with them. So this one surprised me because it does feel smooth. It adds like a touch of glow. It has a very pretty sheer effect. So it's not going to add like a super bronzed appearance to your skin, but it's very, very subtle. I definitely wouldn't say run out and buy this product if you have the original one, because the original one, in my opinion, is just a little bit better because it gives you that extra added glow. Of course, this one does have like the subtle bronze effect, but it's not so noticeable that I feel like you couldn't recreate it by adding like a touch of liquid contour or liquid bronzer to this product on the back of your hand and then applying it all over your face. I think I prefer the original for mixing in, and then I like this one as a base, but I really don't think you need both. Okay, I've seen this next product on TikTok because it is an unusual looking product. So usually that's kind of what like stops the scroll on TikTok. And I've seen people raving about this, but I truly just don't get it. I have tried this product so many times. Like every single time I do my makeup, I try it because I'm like it has to work. Like there has to be something I'm missing, but I really just don't get it. It's from the brand One Size. It is the Secure the Glow Tacky Hydrating Primer. So initially, this feels really good on the skin. It definitely has like a very refreshing, hydrating feel. It almost feels like you're applying a serum, like a hyaluronic acid serum or something that's just going to make your skin look and feel so smooth and glowy and hydrated. As it dries down, there's like a slight tackiness, like on a level of 1 to 10, and 10 being like the e.l.f. Power Grip Hydrating Primer. This is like a 2. So I feel like you have to almost like search or like in your mind convince yourself that it's slightly tacky, but it really isn't, because if you just give it a few more minutes to dry even more, it dries down to more of like a true matte finish. When I think of a tacky hydrating primer, which is how they describe it, I think of the e.l.f. Power Grip or the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip. I really don't think of this. It feels really nice, but I just don't think it does anything for me. I really don't get it. So if you've tried this product, I would love to know what you think. I wouldn't say like my foundation breaks down quickly or it's uneven or patchy or anything like that. It just doesn't feel like it does anything for my makeup. So I wouldn't recommend picking this up. I just feel like it's overpriced for what it is, and I don't get the hype. That being said, I absolutely love this mascara from the same brand. This is the Fantasize mascara. Based on the wand, I just wasn't sure that I was going to love it because the wand to me doesn't look like it would make my lashes look really dramatic or super long or really voluminous, but it does. It's very, very easy to build up, so you can get super dramatic lashes really easily. I also think it does a great job of lifting the lashes, which interestingly enough, I feel like that's just not the case with these shorter bristles normally, but I've had such a good experience with this mascara. It doesn't flake or smudge at all. In fact, I don't know if they actually market this as a waterproof mascara, but it stays in place better than pretty much any waterproof mascara I've ever tried. It's actually difficult to remove at the end of the night. I've used like my strongest cleansing balms, my Garnier Micellar Water, the waterproof version, which is what I normally use, and there's still mascara left on my lashes. So that could be a potential con for you if you don't like mascaras that are really difficult to remove. But I'm telling you, it does not move all day long. It looks so dramatic, so beautiful, but you can also go in with a light coat if you don't want something too intense, and it just gives your lashes like a nice boost, a nice lift. So I'm really enjoying this. I heard from some of you that you love it too, and you think it is like the longest lasting mascara you've tried. So if that's what you're looking for in a mascara, this is it. I also recently tried the liquid liner pen from One Size, and this is one of the longest lasting liquid liners I've tried. But what I really love about this one is it is super rich, incredibly dramatic, and just dark and black, but it dries down fully matte. A lot of liquid liners almost have like a little bit of a sheen to them, and I guess I don't mind that, but the fact that this one looks so matte on the eyes is really, really nice, especially if you wear a lot of matte shadow, because I feel like if you're doing an all matte look and then you have like a shiny black liquid liner, it doesn't give the same effect as if you're using like a black shadow or a matte black liquid liner. And I don't know that I've tried one that looks this matte on the eyes, but also stays in place so well. The longest lasting black liner I've tried is probably the Fenty one. And I do think maybe the Fenty one stays in place a little bit better than this one, but I didn't have any issues with this smudging throughout the day. It looks really dramatic and intense, and it does have like a good point to it, especially for a felt tip liner. Sometimes felt tip liners really drag on my eyes, and I don't get like that smooth, sharp wing that I get with a brush tip, but that hasn't happened with this one. I really do enjoy it. So I think it is a great option, especially if you want like that true matte look. a few lip products that I'm really enjoying. They definitely haven't replaced like my top holy grails in these categories, but I have been reaching for them a lot lately. So the first one is from Tower 28. These are the LipSoftie tinted lip treatments. I really, really like these. They smell amazing. I feel like they have good colors to choose from. Like some are definitely more subtle than others, some have a little bit more pigment. My favorite is the nude one, which I can't find. I swear every time I have a favorite lip product, I lose it. It's probably in the car or in like one of my jacket pockets somewhere because I usually bring that one with me on the go. But that one's my favorite. It has like the most amazing, delicious, like vanilla caramely scent to it. These are really, really nice. I feel like these could be a top contender, like right up there with Summer Fridays, but there is one little thing holding me back. And this is kind of nitpicky, but it's the applicator. The Summer Fridays applicator is so perfect. It is so plush, so luxurious feeling. And it might sound dumb, but I've said it before. The reason why I love Summer Fridays lip balm so much is because it feels like a little bit of luxury throughout your day. Like everything from the scent of the product and the texture of the product to the applicator to actually like wearing it and applying it, it's just an experience. Again, it might sound dumb, but I feel like you have to look for those little things in life. And it just makes me happy every time I reach for my Summer Fridays lip balm. And I feel like the Tower 28 one gives the same exact experience except for the actual application. The texture might be a little bit thinner as well. So I do feel like I have to apply these slightly more often than Summer Fridays, but this applicator is like a rounded plastic applicator. And it's just there's nothing luxurious feeling about it. It reminds me a lot of like a lip treatment that you would get in like the cold and flu section at the store, like next to the cough drops if your lips are really dried out. It's hardly the end of the world. I still use these quite a bit. I think the actual product is really, really nice. But when it comes down to it, like the Summer Fridays one, it's just for me personally like a little bit of an elevated experience. And it probably does come down to that applicator, which sounds silly because it's such a small thing, but it makes a difference if it's a product you're applying multiple times throughout the day. The other lip product that I'm really enjoying is the Too Faced Kissing Jelly Gloss. This actually surprised me because I didn't expect to like it as much as I do. When I initially applied it, I was like, oh, it's nice, but I wasn't like thoroughly impressed by it. And then I started reaching for it more and more, and I bring it with me again when I leave the house, like all the time. I have two different shades. I did get these in the mail as PR. The raspberry one is the one that I wear the most. I don't really wear the grape soda one a ton because it has a ton of glitter in here. On the lips, it's pretty, but I just tend to prefer like a non-glittery lip product these days. And there aren't a lot that don't have glitter in them. I think there are maybe just two. So I would consider picking up like the orangey red one, especially for summer. But I think my issue with these is there are just so many drugstore lip products that are very, very similar. So I don't know that it's really worth it to spend a high-end price on something that I can basically dupe at the drugstore. These are nice because they are described as like lip oil lip gloss hybrids, which is like my favorite type of lip product right now. It's very cushiony, it's pretty thin, so it's not super thick or like too heavy on the lips, and it wears off somewhat quickly, but it does leave my lips feeling really soft, very moisturized, and it looks really glossy, like so pretty and smooth on the lips. But I would say the Milani lip oils are pretty similar. Those have a thinner texture, but they have like a very similar fruity scent. They give like a similar tint to the lips. So in my opinion, I would say if you're looking for something like this, go with the Milani, unless you want like the glittery version because the Milani ones don't have any glitter in them. So I'm kind of torn. Like I love this product so much, but would I go out and buy more? Probably not, because in the back of my mind, I know I could just use the Milani ones and get a very similar effect. Okay, let's talk about the Fenty We're Even concealer. Initially, I wasn't going to buy this because I have discovered a lot of really good concealers over the last few months, formulas I love and I cannot get enough of, but I have heard so many people raving about this concealer, and honestly, I'm kind of disappointed in it. It doesn't live up to the hype in my mind. The main thing this has going for it that I do really like is the fact that it doesn't crease very much compared to really any other formula I've tried. It really surprised me when I had tried this out the first time. I think it was on camera. I applied it and then I went to set it, but before I set my concealer, I always just kind of blend it out again because it normally does crease. and it really didn't crease, and it stays that way throughout the day. So if you have a lot of wrinkles or fine lines and you find that a lot of concealers do settle into those areas really often, like they do for me, this might be a good formula for that reason. But it is marketed as a hydrating concealer, and I just don't find it to be super hydrating. I do typically have very oily skin, but like around my nose is where I tend to be kind of dry. And this product just enhances that dryness so much. It looks cakey and heavy. It looks so terrible every single time I wear it. And I always wear concealer around my nose because that's where I get a little bit red. I definitely would not say it's as hydrating as the Tower 28 or the Natasha Denona or the Catrice concealer. It almost feels kind of matte, to be honest. I don't know. I've heard like the exact opposite thing from other people though. So it's so strange how makeup really does work differently for everyone, but I really don't find it to be like the most hydrating, comfortable formula. It also doesn't look incredibly smooth on my skin. Like it definitely enhances texture. It blends out fairly easily. It's fairly long wearing, but truthfully, I just prefer the Tower 28 one and the Natasha Denona one over this. So I didn't like it. I didn't have great luck with it, but I know a lot of people are enjoying it, and I put this to the test. Like I used it every single day since I initially tried it in that video, which I filmed a few days before it even went live. So at this point, it's probably been like 2 weeks, and I can't fall in love with it. It's not my favorite. So unfortunately, this didn't work for me. I'm not going to say it's a bad product because it could work for you, especially if you want more of like a creaseless concealer, as realistic as it could be. You know, no concealer is going to be completely creaseless, but this one comes pretty close. It enhances dryness. It looks a little heavy on my skin. It's just not my personal favorite. The last product that I personally did not love is a skincare product from Glow Recipe. This is not a brand new launch, but I love pretty much everything I've tried from the brand with the exception of this. I've really put it to the test. I've used a good amount of it, and I don't know. I don't know that I'll finish it. I might pass it along because I feel like it's just not doing anything for my skin. It is the Blueberry Bounce Gentle Cleanser. So, a few things about this. It claims to be a gentle cleanser. When you read through the description online, it's kind of marketed as like a very nourishing formula. It says that it has oils to remove makeup and also like hyaluronic acid. So, you think it's going to feel really hydrating on your skin, but because it is a gel, it's just assumed to be very lightweight. It is a pretty lightweight cleanser, but it almost dries my skin out a little bit, which is strange. And I just generally don't experience that from a lot of gel cleansers. It also has a little bit of kind of a weird texture for a gel. Like you really have to work it into a lather, but it takes more effort than I feel like it should. It just doesn't give me like that easy, simple cleanse that I get out of a lot of other gel cleansers. I usually use a gel cleanser in the morning because I don't like to use anything too heavy or harsh on my skin. And this one just feels like it dries my skin out. So if you have really sensitive skin, if it's very easily irritated or it tends to be red, I wouldn't recommend this because I don't find it quite as gentle as they claim. There are so many good gentle cleansers out there. I'll list a few of my favorites in the description box below, but I was surprised because in general, Glow Recipe products are very hydrating, really nourishing. I love them because I do find them to be pretty gentle. That just wasn't the case with this one, unfortunately. Okay, wrapping it up, I did try a new eyeshadow palette. Actually, two. These are from Too Faced. They are the Born This Way mini palettes. So there's Warm Ember Nudes and then Cold Smolder Nudes. So I love the Too Faced Born This Way Natural Nudes palette. This has been out for years, and I did have it when they originally launched it. And then maybe like a year or two ago, I got a new one. So this is not the original one I had, but I love this palette. It looks like a basic, simple, neutral palette, and it is, but it looks a lot more interesting on the eyes, in my opinion. The matte shadows are very thin. They're pretty powdery, but you can build them up and they're very easy to blend onto the eyes. I feel like this is a good beginner-friendly matte shadow, or if you're someone who doesn't want to spend a ton of time blending, like a super pigmented matte shadow, I think you'll like this formula. And then the shimmers, they're so interesting. They're a little bit thicker, so they look very smooth on the eyes. And basically you can take like this shadow in the crease, this shadow all over the lid. I feel like I'm losing my voice a little bit. I've been talking so much. And you have a complete look. It's so stunning, so gorgeous. I swear every time I wear this, I get so many questions. And you wouldn't think that would be the case because it looks like a simple neutral palette, but it's really beautiful. Anyway, they launched these 6-pan palettes, which look very similar to this. And the formula really is the same. In fact, I find it to be a little bit better. I feel like they almost improved it slightly. I would say Warm Ember Nudes is basically dupeable with this one. So if you already have the full size palette, you could probably skip over this because even though they're named different names, almost everything in here has like a very similar color. So I don't find it different enough to really warrant having both of them in your collection. That's just me personally. If you don't have the full size palette, this could be a good option because it's just a mini. But this one caught my attention because the original palette is obviously very warm toned and this one is really cool toned. So I have this on my eyes today. I did a video using this. If you want to see it in action, I'll link it below, but I love it. So cool tones are obviously really popular right now. And I feel like this is a good way to add cool tones to your collection that are very easy to work with without committing to a full size palette. It really is everything you need. So I have this color as a transition color, this color in the crease, this one in the outer corner, lid, and then all over the lid as well. The only shade I'm not using is this one, but I absolutely love this little palette. I feel like it just kind of added like the perfect amount of cool tone shadows to my collection without being overwhelming. I wish they would launch a cooler toned version of this palette because that would be so, so perfect. But I almost feel like they don't really have to at this point because they launched a small mini version. So if you like cool tones and you're looking for like a very easy to work with eyeshadow formula that can create like a little bit more of a dramatic look, this is perfect. You could do something very light and simple with these shades or even this shade or something more dramatic too. And it's just great. It's really nice to have. I love that it's compact, it's small, it's not overwhelming, and I think the quality really is good. I know Too Faced eyeshadow quality can kind of vary depending on what you buy, but I'm really impressed by these. I've loved this one for years, and this one, in my opinion, is even a little bit better. So those are all of the products I wanted to update you on. Now that I've had the chance to really thoroughly test them out, I'm actually going to do a drugstore version of this video in a few days, so stay tuned for that because I have a ton of drugstore products to update you on and share in that video. So I'll be back soon with that one, but thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you very soon with a new one. Bye.